Hey guys, how's everything going? This is JSer. In this video, let's talk about something interesting. I'm going to talk about the death of AMP, aka Accelerated Mobile Pages. It's a project initialized by Google. If you have not, I believe you've heard about it. If you're not so familiar with it, just search on Google. It's I think there will be very detailed explanation about what it is. So, in a word, AMP project AMP actually lets you use less powerful JavaScript or other APIs to achieve a better user experience. So called experience. Well, the project is still alive, I guess, but I think it's already dead. We'll jump to that why it is already dead. Okay, so first, I never liked AMP at the start. This is maybe sound, hey, you're talking about after like several years, but to be honest, I've already discussed about this project within our team at that time, like 5 or 6 years ago. Say, okay, Google has created something new like AMP. Should we adopt it or not? At that time, I thought, we don't need it because we've already did a great job, or not a very good job, but we've already cared about the experience, right? Cared the performance, cared the loading time, something like that. Even though like we are not doing like a 100% perfect, but I think we invested a lot of time in it. So if we use this AMP, we might not gain that much. And another thing is that after I digged into what AMP is like, I found that there are two things might give us something good. Like the first one is CDN cache from Google. So if you use AMP, those web pages will be cached by Google and will be delivered to all over the world with their CDN node. So it might be help us. It's actually very good. If we are going to do by ourselves, there will be some cost, yeah. And this kind of cache is free. Well, that's good. Another thing is, I think most of the developers thought it will be the best perk to use AMP. That is search ranking. If you use AMP, Google will say, okay, if you use AMP, then the web pages will be good. So we will give you a better search ranking, like put you in a higher place, and also you know that in those search results on mobile or on desktop, there will be like some other than the search result, there will be like the windows like carousel, all those widgets, right? Those nice widget at the beginning, like top news, top stories. Yeah, if you do that, okay, we will just promote that for you. Yeah, and everybody say, oh, this is good. We need, if our website needs some traffic from the search engine, then we should do it, like and gain some traffic. Yeah, and I thought it was true, but I instantly realized this is not the case, because this is kind of something like trick to trick you to do this AMP, and then if everyone does AMP like for their blogs, for the ECUs, for their and website, if everyone does AMP, then no one will take the advantage, right? Obviously, Google cannot promote all the stories, right? So in the end, everyone will gain nothing for the search ranking, even if they are doing their AMP pages. So yeah, there's two things. The first one, cache. Second one, search ranking. Yeah, this might matter, but only the first one, CDN cache, might be the best. And then I didn't like it because it feels weird, because I feel like all those new technologies I cannot use, right? I like JavaScript. I like to make it more dynamic. And now we have this AMP. Suddenly I cannot use something just freely. I need to find some. If like the CSS size is already limited, and I cannot use some widgets. I need to use the predefined widgets, and they are not cool. So I need to adapt to the AMP. I use AMP as a technology to build something for myself. Yeah, so I didn't like it, but we actually used it. That's something very ironic. Actually, I was in a team, and the team leader said, "Okay, let's use AMP for this project." And I just said we don't need to use it, and we gain nothing because for our project, those pages are already static. There are not so many interactions, so it doesn't give us any extra merit to use it. Like we've already 99% good, and if we use AMP, maybe like 99.5%. So, but actually, we used it. I'm not the lead for that team, and the project is dead. It's not my fault, and it's not AMP's fault. It's just some business decisions. And I must say, from that experience, I think that AMP doesn't give us anything tasty. And thing is that actually 2 years ago, still AMP was a thing. Then they are promoting something like web stories. They hold a meetup in Tokyo and say AMP. I would just why not join it and ask them questions. And so I went there and talked to the leader. I don't know whether he's like Barkus or some guy. He was the team, and he's leading, I think, web stories or AMP project. And I went there, and I asked the question, got the most voted. One question is, this is from me. I said, do we need it since we are having more and more powerful devices? At that time, there was no such thing as Apple chip, right? And I've already, I think that we're having more and more devices like better iPhones, better Android, big Pixel from Google. So why do we need to this AMP, right? We are having an evolution of the devices. They're more powerful, and we kind of okay, we are investing so much time and energy to create something that might not be a problem at all. For not for web, but for other area. You're building a desktop web application. What we are focusing on is making the development much easier. Everybody can build something, and cross-platform. Nobody cares that if it runs on a very old PC or Mac, right? It doesn't matter. So yeah, I just doubtful of this, and at that time I got this answer is that they say, hey, not all developers are like you guys, and I think some of us like you could build web applications better, but for the general, there is still a huge percentage of developers that build nasty web applications. Yes, I kind of think, okay, it sounds reasonable, but indeed, how much percentage of that? And anyway, this is just some fun story. And now AMP is dead. Not officially, but I said, or officially, I don't know. I didn't search it, but it is dead because we have a new tool set. It's called Core Web Vitals. And now what you see on Google is that if you search something and the page is AMP, then there was a flash icon to indicate that this page is loaded very fast and instantly. Yeah, and there's no more. And another thing is that I have my own website, and in my search console before there's a tab say AMP pages. How many AMP pages do you have, and how many impressions and clicks for it, and it is gone. So I think internally on Google, AMP is dead, and they are promoting this new Core Web Vitals, and which I think it's super great. It tells you some numbers to measure the performance of your website. Yeah, your numbers, you have a 60% accessibility, 70% of load, something there are a lot of metrics like first load, animation, total layout shift. So which is super great. You can see those numbers and you can try to improve one of them or all of them and see the numbers get up. And there is now a unified metric for all web applications, no matter what kind of tools technologies you're using. Even if it's AMP, it's still, you need to core up vitals to judge, like to give you a score, right? So yeah, AMP, I think it's dead. And so what we learned from this is that Google make mistakes, even though there are so many geniuses in their company, but still they have built a lot of failing applications, services, even this technology they're promoting, like Polymer. Do you still remember Polymer? Yeah, they make mistakes. I'm not saying mistakes, but they are not always right. And the second one is we should learn open technologies. Do not focus too much on some subset of our web technologies, like this AMP stuff, like only works for Google. Yeah, only works for Google on web pages, and yeah, and they gain nothing. Learn some technologies which is more widely adopted by all these developers. And the last thing is that as a technical company or some platform builder, we should help people manage risk, not avoiding it. Like say, hey, I think the original purpose of AMP is very good. They said, okay, because all those technologies are super prone to how should I say, abuse, right? You use those APIs and you just create some bad user experience. And yeah, I agree. We need some form of learning, right? Learning to get used to it and avoid those things. But that's all tools given to us, and we should help people to use it, not just tie their hands up to avoid using it, right? Yeah, if you just go back to the Stone Age, yeah, there's no such thing as the bad UX experience, right? It's just everything is plain, there's nothing there. So yeah, just help people learn, not help people avoid risk, because risk is somewhat indicating there is a bigger success for us. And so that's the lesson I learned from this AMP. Yeah, but to be honest, I think it's still a valuable project because yeah, at that time, I think nobody is sure that this is the right approach or not, right? But after this 5 or 6 years, we've learned that we need to be open and yeah, to help people, and from this kind of sense that still it's a successful project, I guess, though it is already dead. Okay, yeah, thanks for your time, thanks for listening, and I'm hoping to discuss a bit more about something like this, some topics like all around those technical world. Yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.